question of what is the soul is really the question, who are you? Who am I? Who am I?
Hello and welcome everybody to the Alpha Team League Grand Finals, actually. I'm Arthisios, and with me, it's Ward. Ward, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself, Ryan?
Doing fairly well. So we have a really cool set of matches coming on today. Lots of high-level StarCraft today, so definitely a good one to watch. Between, as noted though, Infinity Gaming and Rise Esports. Now, Ward, I mean, we have a lot of ZVTs today.
Yeah, for sure.
About that? Like, how do you feel about the ZVT world right now, especially with these players? I mean, Kane, Antis, Semper, Future, Cuddle Bear, like Jardozer. It's gonna be pretty intense.
Yeah, I think for the most part, other than those like NA players that have kind of like, they're like the top tier players, like winning tournaments like Scarlet Special, that group that lives in Korea or the Neebs and stuff like this. I think this lineup really does include like the top, definitely some of the top American players right now. Like these are the top of the top, right? Like other than this, I mean, there's a handful of players that aren't here, but I really think, out of the top 16 GM, there's 7 of them here. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Cuddlebear's still top 16. So I mean, it's just a very, very strong lineup this week.
Yeah, very exciting games. Again, guys, these are the grand finals. So this will be the decider match, or decider series, I guess, for entire Alpha Team League season. What are we? Season 11? Season 11. There it is. Nailed it. All of season 11.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely excited.
It's gonna be an awesome
for a while. I mean, there's been a lot of battles back and forth. I mean, Infinity Gaming, I believe, only lost to Dark Society Gamers. So Rise Esports did pretty darn well too.
Yeah, and I mean during the regular season, Rise, they do have like a fair number of losses, but Rise wasn't really fielding their A team. They were kind of fielding. I think at one point they even fielded like a 4.2 Terran player. So during the regular season, they weren't all that concerned. As long as they made it into the playoffs, they think they were pretty confident they would make it to the final. So there is that to keep in mind as far as them not being, not having as successful of a record as us. But yeah.
Absolutely, and again, lots of great matches, and we've definitely seen the storyline of Vindicta against Future. Now that's going to be a match here. It's the second one tonight. I mean, these two have gone head to head so many times. They do recognize this rivalry as well. So
Yeah, I mean for sure. I really think that Vindicta and Future are kind of, they're battling it out. I think they're very evenly matched players, and I think they're definitely two of the best American Terrans at this point in time. I think they kind of fight for that throne pretty consistently, and it's very equal. There, it's back and forth as to who I think is stronger at the moment, and it changes day to day as to who's better. So I really expect the TVT between Vindicta and Future to be an absolutely amazing matchup.
yeah, I am very excited for that. It looks like our first match is going to be ZVT, as previously mentioned, between Jardozer and Cuddlebear. We are just going to be, we're getting ready in just a moment, so we'll have everything going. Narwhal, or Ward.
Rip.
Sorry about that. Jardozer against Cuddlebear. I mean, what are your feelings on that?
Jardozer versus Cuddlebear is definitely. I feel Cuddlebear is definitely a little bit of a stronger player. Not to take anything away from Jardozer, but Cuddlebear, I mean, he's always doing really well in the qualifiers. He's making it really far through the winners bracket, stuff like that. So I do feel Cuddlebear is a little bit stronger than Jardozer on a more consistent basis. But I mean, it's any given day in StarCraft, and I don't think the skill difference is untangible, right? Like, I definitely think that Jardozer could take this map. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I don't even think it's that unlikely. It could definitely happen. The map is going to be 16-bit though, and 16-bit is a bit. Sorry, 16-bit is a bit of a Terran favored map. Obviously, you have that in-base natural. It's very strong against Zerg players in particular too. So I'm really interested to see how this match is going to go down, and whether we will be seeing Mech or Bio from Cuddlebear.
Yeah, always a coin flip, isn't it? It almost seems though.
I think historically Cuddlebear has always been a bit bio leaning, but I mean he's always leaned towards bio. But 16-bit, just that in base space, you get to 4 bases so easily. Sometimes it's just hard not to give in to the dark side of the Terran force that is Mech.
Yeah, Mech is pretty darn powerful. Definitely excited to see what we'll get out of Jardozer against Cuddlebear. As mentioned previously, we are just waiting for the match to be made, so thank you for bearing with us. As always, you could always, if you're feeling like wandering around, check out the links below this channel. There's the Infinity Gaming YouTube a link to the Infinity Gaming Discord if you feel like hanging out with us, as well as the Infinity Gaming store. And I know Rise also has a store. I don't have the link offhand. Also, check out our Matcherino, which the link will be provided in chat in just a few moments. I don't remember the what is the
code for the Matcherino is IXG versus Rise. So I mean,
IXGVSRISE.
yeah, and that will give 50 cents towards the prize pool today. So I mean, it was we did try to get a Matcherino for this event, and we succeeded. So definitely contribute to this. I mean, it gives the players a little bit of something, because there is no natural prize pool for this event. So it does give the players a little bit of something for participating and puts a little bit on the line. So definitely make sure to contribute to that prize pool.
Absolutely. Actually, you know what? I'm going to have to go over there and do that myself. I have yet to do it. Like
So
the
have I.
bad caster that I am.
It's okay, Ryan. I'm a bad caster too. I've yet to do it too.
See, again, guys, we will have the link to you as soon as stream catches up. Definitely appreciate it. Again, thank you guys for hanging out, though. We appreciate your patronage. Right? Is that the way I can put that?
Sure.
All right. So getting back into the games, though, I mean, getting back in, there so far no change. We have not seen any movement on the StarCraft front. Again, hopefully we will get these games for you guys fairly shortly.
I mean, I think everyone's here too. Yeah, Jardos and Cuddle Bears here, so I don't know what the holdup is here, but we're waiting on it, so no big deal. Of course, the rest of the matchups we have today, as we said, Jardozer versus Cuddle Bear is going to be our first matchup. After that, we have also mentioned the TVT between Vindicta and Future. Following that, we have the, we have a ZVZ on Lost and Found from Kane and Caleb Arrakis. And then following that, I'm assuming, these are obviously two very great teams, so I'm assuming it's going to get this far. We'll go to Dreamcatcher with Antis versus Semper, and then after that, it'll be the ace match. So, not sure who's going to be playing on Redshift, but the ace match really drew the short stick for the map pool this week on Redshift.
Yeah, definitely an interesting map. I personally really liked it as Terran, but I mean, you play completely different styles sometimes, and you're also a lot better than me. So, how do you feel about Redshift other than you don't like?
Redshift, if it gets into a macro game, it's typically Terran favored. I feel it's a very good Terran map if you get that far into the game.
Mm-hmm.
However, very early into the game, Redshift is just very, very strong for Zerg all-ins. They don't even have to involve the gold base. It's a very good Zerg all-in map. So, that's typically why a lot of Terrans don't like to play on Redshift. It's because they really, really struggle holding the Zerg all-in. So, yeah.
Okay, no, that's, definitely always good insight there. Looks like we are finally getting into the lobby here. The link was thrown. Admins in here. Casters in here. Players in here. It looks like we're going pretty good here. Again, thank you guys for hanging out. Actually, something I was just kind of thinking about. Back to the whole Matcherino topic. So that Matcherino page, it's got some pretty cool stuff there. There's Soylent Poppius for adding 30 to the prize pool. And also Infinity Gaming is offering a team subscription, which is pretty cool, actually. Let's see, it goes to the prize pool of events. This allows us get back to you.
Are you reading something for the first time on stream?
I was skimming.
I could tell. That's a great meme. I'm glad we experienced that together.
Thank you. Yeah. So, anyways, you get a lot of cool stuff. Subscriber Discord role, the team servers, sub-only shirt giveaways, free desktop graphics. That's pretty nifty. Name feature at the end of their streams and a few more items. So definitely worth a checking out. Actually, it looks like we're going to be getting in the game fairly shortly here. All players are saying go, go. Or do you love my segues? I'm so good at this, I promise. It's only my first day casting. It's okay, guys.
It's only your first day, yeah. You've only been doing this for like years. Although there was like a 2-year break in there.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. After the ESL stuff, I definitely just didn't want to deal with anything anymore. So that was always fun. But and welcome back, everybody. We're getting right into this match with the beautiful fireworks in the top right. It's the green Terran representing Rise Esports. It's Cuddlebear.
And spawning in the bottom left, the red Zerg player representing Infinity Gaming. Oh, it is Jardozer.
So something I actually noticed just now, and it's only because we're looking at the Zerg base, and I haven't been playing as much as I should have. There are these cool light posts at your bases, just to kind of hold up that happy birthday 8th piece. Yeah. See, I think that was really cool. Like on the Terran Command Center, that is perfect.
One thing that's actually kind of funny about those things is you can actually see them through the fog of war if you get close enough without actually seeing the base.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy actually.
Huh.
Bit of a blunder there, but they're looking into fixing it. I know I saw that on Battle, so no need to fear.
Yeah. So right now we don't have anything crazy. Everything is very, very standard. Gas first for Terran, and hatch gas pool for Zerg.
That actually was a Rax gas from the Terran player. Which,
was it?
Yep.
Ugh.
So that I was gonna say, well, that looks like a mech opener, but it is gonna be Rax gas, which means it is gonna be a Reaper expand here from the Terran player Cuddlebear. I saw the C and my brain just. So that definitely typically leans towards bio play. I mean, it's not impossible to open Rax gas and still go Hellions and mech and all that, but I mean, it's definitely more common if you're gonna be opening with that to go gas first. Definitely not gonna be a 2-1-1 here, so. I mean, he might just prove me wrong right now. Yep, he's going to go for the Marine. He's going to build a factory.
Oh, man, Ward. That was 0 for 1 in the first 2 minutes.
I shouldn't be surprised. I do this build, so I don't know why I was like, yeah, he's probably going to go bio, but it can be mech. But no, he is going to end up going for this Hellions. Still might be bio, but it's going to be opening with here.
All right. So we do have the Reaper hopping in onto the top side of the ledge, using some of that KD-10 charge to do away those links.
Yeah, and I really like I'm just getting every player wrong. Jardos are taking this forward basis as natural. I'm pretty sure that's pretty common for Zerg players, but it just allows there to be creep spread out front. I mean, you take your third base so fast as a Zerg player, there's really no point to not take this base as your natural. So just a nice little touch there from Jardozer.
Absolutely, and we do see the flip of the reactor. So
this is actually incredibly greedy from Cuddlebear. He's going for the 3rd CC before his starport, which means that he's definitely going to be a little bit later on getting those Banshees out. So he is going to go for the starport as well as the tech lab. So it looks like it's probably going to be Hellion Banshee. Could be Stim Viking Liberator, but probably going to be Banshees. But yeah, getting that 3rd command center first is a little bit greedy. just if there is some kind of attack, you don't have those Banshees or air units out, so it can be risky, but there's nothing really coming here to punish him for those.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even so, it looks like plenty of queens are going to be up in time, so especially with delay. But we do have some Hellions just about to poke in.
Yeah, we also see Jardozer putting his Baneling Nest on the front, so probably in an attempt to wall off the front here to some degree, so that the Hellions can't just run right in behind that mineral line. So definitely a nice little positioning there on that Baneling Nest, and to have his lair is on time, pretty standard timing. So we are going to see this game go to a higher tech. Not going to be some 3-base Baneling bust or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have the flaking coming out as well. Lots of Lings hanging out up front, though. I mean, Ward, this looks like he's prepared for a run by almost, right?
Yeah, I mean that's not a massive Ling count. That's pretty standard as far as defending with these queens here. Just here to defend the bases. It's really hard for Cuddlebear to like run by with these Hellions with this base though, because he can't go into the third. It's all through one path, so there's no multi-prong, there's no going where the queens aren't, right? There's only one opening, so it's definitely going to be hard for him to get any kind of damage done. So I think Jardozer feels a little comfortable with a little bit of a lesser Ling count here.
Alrighty. We do have double Tech Lab coming down as well. Or sorry, Armory. Yikes. And a lot of Lings taking down that Reaper.
It is, in fact, going to be mech, and yeah, that Reaper is going to go down in the middle of the map, but this double Armory is obviously going to be mech play. There's no reason to take double Armory if you're going to be going for bio. So he is going to be playing mech on this map, and I feel like it's a really good choice. This map is very, very strong for mech. It's very easy to get up to your 4 bases that you need for your gas income, and to just push out from there. So I definitely think this is a good choice from Cuddlebear.
Alright, yeah. That is definitely going to be an interesting battle for Jardozer, though.
Yeah,
it looks like all he has is Ling Bane, so...
Yeah, I was going to say,
real quick, right?
Jardozer doesn't know that this is mech yet. I think he's assuming that Cuddlebear is just going to go into bio or something, because he is going for those melee upgrades. He's going for that Hydra Skin, which I think Hydra Ling Bane can work against mech, but it's definitely not the popular route at the moment. You typically see Zerg players going for Roach Hydra into Vipers, Broodlords, so on and so forth against mech, but this game we do see him going for Ling Bane. And as the follow-up here for Cuddlebear, the pressure he's going to be putting on the on the Zerg player is going to be double Thor drops, which is definitely a very powerful opening.
Okay. We do see an Overlord popping or poking around, or did poke around. I think he died. Did he die?
No, he's in the north part of the base.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so he is alive. He did get a bit of a scout out, which, as one can imagine, is pretty useful, but...
and actually, a bit unfortunate for Cuddlebear, he only has one medevac queue at his starport, so his double Thor drop is going to be slightly delayed, waiting for that second medevac, but it's not the biggest deal, just slightly unfortunate.
Yeah, we do have some Lings moving on forward, running straight into these Hellions, unfortunately. And the blink.
The Hellions surrounded the Zerglings. It's not something you get to say very often.
Yeah, we do have a drop coming for Cuddlebear. Double Thor drop on the right side with Hellions on the left. Yeah,
those Banelings need to be very, very careful. And I mean, this is definitely going to be hard for Jardozer to hold. Double Thor in his natural, all these Hellions down by his 4th base. Like, but actually the Banelings will get on top of the Hellions, get some good connections, but there's nothing in position really to deal with this double Thor drop.
Yeah, I mean, just one lonely queen trying to make its way in the world. There is some roaches reinforced towards the map, 3rd. And fairly blue run by happening. However, Hellions on the left side, roasting some hatchery.
Good hot pickup to pick up that 1 Thor from Cuddlebear. Unfortunately, does lose 1 Thor, so not really the best result there. Certainly wishes he could have kept on to that, but he does kill 6 drones in the natural, so not all is lost. Definitely get some good damage done, but just a little unfortunate he ended up losing that Thor.
All right, so this Creepster is actually pretty okay. It's not really. I mean, it's almost halfway there, right? So Jardozer
Yeah, I mean,
does have quite a bit of vision here.
not insane creep spread, but I mean it's decent, right? I mean he sees most of his side of the map, so he's gonna see any attacks when they get to his side. Not gonna see him as far ahead as if it was on Cuddlebear's side of the map, but I mean Cuddlebear's been doing a good job with those Hellions, going around denying the creep, and I mean it just shows on Jardozer's creep spread as how well Cuddlebear's been denying it.
Yeah, we do have some Hydra Roach trying to walk in at that natural, but it is reinforced by a tank. And that did get a few pot shots. Actually, when I say tank, I mean a few. This mech army is rather
entrenched.
Beefy. Okay, that works. I like that. Entrenched.
Well, with those factories there, man, like there was no chance that he was getting through that anytime soon.
I mean, 400 Banelings, I think you could do anything, right?
No, not with that many siege tanks. But, I mean, at this point, he has transitioned away from that Ling Bane opener. He is going into Roach Hydra, and he is actually starting his Spire and his Hive are already halfway done. So he is going to be looking to get into his Broodlords very, very quickly, actually as fast as possible. So, I mean, definitely going for that fast tech play against this very ground-heavy mech army.
Mm-hmm. We do have the worker movement going from the 3rd to the 4th. I mean, Cuddlebear seems like he's expanding comfortably. Yeah, Jardozer doesn't really seem like he's doing that. You know, he doesn't. I get the impression that he still doesn't quite know how he wants to go about doing that. Other than
I mean, a lot of Jardozer's money was invested into going for that Hive Inspire, so his 5th base was going to be a little bit later. Neither player is really putting that much pressure on the other. I mean, little attempts at run-bys, but so far, each player has been pretty good at deflecting. But we do see our first big move out of the game, where Cuddlebear is moving out with his massive mech army, and he has a lot of Hellions here, which when those turn into Hellbats, I think Jardo is going to have a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, lots of blue flame coming here.
Oh,
we do have a few drones going down, but not a ton, fortunately.
I mean, there's what, 6, 7 tanks here, and these Hellbats are just going to provide such a massive buffer that those tanks have just such a massive capability to deal damage here. It's going to be really, really difficult for Jardozer's army to get on top of that of Cuddlebear's. But as I say that, we do have Vipers charging up their energy at the natural. But I mean, Cuddlebear really gets what he wants. He kills the base. He gets 12 drone kills, and I mean, he's just going to move back. He's happy with the result.
Yeah, absolutely. That said, I mean, he kind of moves back. There's a counterattack from Jardozer. Lots of roaches, but I mean, handful of CCs going up. These SCVs are blocking the way, letting these tanks just take all the hot shots they want. Those roaches really just spread today, though.
Yeah, I actually thought those roaches were gonna run into more of that 4 tank fire and just do absolutely nothing. But Jardozer does good at avoiding it and gets a lot of SCV kills in the natural. But we do see Cuddlebear moving into that 5th base.
Clouds going on in those tanks, but those Hydras have to back up. They don't quite have the room to do what they need to do. So those Hellions are rather powerful.
Yeah, I think Cuddlebear or Jardozer really wants to be getting rid of his Viking support at the moment, so that his Broodlords don't really need any air support. There's no other anti-air here other than those 4 Vikings. So I definitely think Jardozer wants to get those before that his Broodlords come into play.
We do see, I mean, supplies not the greatest for our Zerg here.
Oh, Vipers are going down. But he does get a good amount of blinding clouds off. He is going to be able to clean up the Hellions of this army. Decent splits coming from Jardozer. He is going to get on top of the rest of those tanks and clean up the rest of Cuddlebear's army. But it really comes down to at what cost. He loses 18 drones in the process, as well as the majority of his army here.
Yeah. Looking at the workers kill tab, I mean, 41 workers have gone down for Jardozer. That's quite a lot here. I mean, Jardozer's really hurting. He had to rebuild a base somewhere else, so he isn't quite up and running on that base, though. We have another run out for Cuddlebear. I mean, Ward, this is going to be pretty rough for Jardozer.
I mean, Cuddlebear's economy has grown to 5 bases, and I mean, the way I would describe his economy is comfortable. He has had no contesting. He has 8 factories working and a starport, getting +3 weapons and +1 ship weapons. So I mean, by the time Jardozer cleans up a mech army with 8 factories, there's another one on the way. Like, it's just a massive amount of production from Cuddlebear here.
Yeah, we have a ton of tanks, but here come the Broodlords. Only a few Vikings. These Broodlords can definitely do quite a bit of work.
Yeah, and
taking down the last Viking, and there is these Broodlords are free to roam. They can do what they want now.
yeah, but having seen that, I mean, Cuddlebear has, like I said, 8 factories. I mean, if he has the money for it, which at the moment he doesn't, but he should really shortly, he can build 5 Thors at a time. Which, I mean, there's not really much more you want against Broodlords. A low eco Broodlord Zerg than that. I mean, this army that Jardozer has, well, it's going to be uncontested for a while. I mean, eventually, Cuddlebear just has the economy to pump out what he needs to stop it.
Yeah, I mean, these Broodlords getting some real nice shots on these tanks. Corruptors taking down the last of those Vikings.
Yeah, and
just trying to get anything in they can.
Yeah, and I think that siege up there from Cuddlebear was just to buy time for these Thors and Vikings to pop. I mean, if he just goes straight home and doesn't stop Jardozer from keeping moving forward, I think there's a possibility that Jardozer gets a decent amount of damage done. But with that delay, I mean, the Thors are starting to pop, more Vikings are coming out, so Jardozer is definitely in a bit of trouble once those do.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just really comes down to Jardozer's response. So, I mean, we only see Corruptor production. It looks like he's just going into this Corruptor Broodlord style. But on the other side of the map, we do have some blue King Hellbats taking down that mineral line, and tanks are roaming free. There's nothing. Jardozer, he doesn't really have anything. It's all on the other side of the map.
Yeah, and Jardozer is really expecting, I think, some Viking contention here. He does not have nearly the Broodlord, the ground army he needs to stop all of these Thors from taking out the Broodlords. But, I mean, as we do say that, Jardozer has taken out the natural of Cuddlebear, as well as getting some good worker damage. But, I mean, these tanks and Hellbats on the other side of the map, there's just nothing here. I mean, they're roaming free. They're killing absolutely everything in sight and destroying the economy of Jardozer.
Absolutely. Back on the green side of the map, the Hydras did a little bit of damage because they did get shooed away. These tanks on Jardozer.
He's gonna get the hive!
It's so much damage.
At the same time, Jardozer does come down here and picks off that 5th base, so he does send Cuddlebear back to 3 bases, but it's a 3 base economy to the 0 base economy.
Yeah,
so
this is really unfortunate for Jardozer. Very much caught out of position, but so many Broodlords. I mean, theoretically, if he can finish the game with just Broodlords,
I mean, even then, it's going to be difficult. I mean, he has 0 drones, right? So, or no, he has 15. So, but most of his supply right now is army. So, I mean, he has a pretty good army supply here. But there's so many Thors on the ground, and Cuddlebear's ability to trade. And even though he's really only on 1 mining base, I mean, that's better than 0. So everything Cuddlebear loses is expendable, whereas everything Jardozer loses, I mean, it's just 1 less unit he has to win the game with. So, I really think Cuddlebear is in an almost dominating position here, and although Jardozer might put up a decent fight with this many Broodlords, eventually Cuddlebear will just overtake.
Oh my goodness, it's the corrosive. No, it's the corruptor. It's not. What is it even called? Oh man.
Caustic spray.
Yeah,
it's called Corruptor Piss. Damn it. Oh.
Corruptors killed all the Vikings.
Yeah, they do kill all of the Vikings. The Widow Mines are being pumped out, and there's actually not as many Thors as I thought there would be here by this time, but good focus fire from Cuddlebear. If you click on the Thors, you can see he's focus firing down the Broodlords, and there's just none left. 3 Broodlords do remain, and that's not going to be enough.
Game number 1 going Cuddlebear. So that was pretty interesting. I mean, we ended up seeing the mech. I know we were really curious about that, but I mean, it was a really strong style with a very solid counter push. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I think what we saw from that game was Cuddlebear just kept doing Hellion run-bys. He kept Jardozer on his side of the map, kept him from really being able to put pressure onto him. And by doing that, I mean, he just eventually took over the map. He was on 4 or 5 bases by the end of that game before he started losing them. So he was producing from 8 factories. He was comfortable. I mean, there was really nothing he could do wrong. I mean, Jardozer even got on top of a mech army with no anti-air. I mean, Cuddlebear realized, I mean, this army, I mean, it's expendable. I have enough money to remake a Thor Hellbat Viking army at home, and I can use this rest of this army. I don't care if I lose it. I can use it to wipe out your entire economy. So,
Yeah,
I mean, just really smart play from Cuddlebear.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we saw happen. That was really well done. As you said, just really smart play. Yeah, I mean, solid match, though. Coming up next, it'll be Vindicta against Future. And you guys, this is going to be one of the super solid, top tier, amazing matches.
I can't wait. I can't wait for you. Now that you've said that, like somehow Future's like gonna guess the correct spawn of Vindicta and just like proxy 4-racks him. Right? Like now that you've hyped it up.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, these guys have quite a bit of history. I've gone back and forth in tournaments and team leagues and ladder even quite a bit. So it's definitely a cool little game that's going to be played out in just a few moments. Again, thank you guys for hanging out with us. As always, I'm Arthisios. With me is Ward. We have more StarCraft. I'm excited about this. Very excited.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not like a Terran player, this is probably gonna be a while. So you can probably go take a nap and come back. I mean, we're on the 4-player map that is Darkness Sanctuary. Like this TVT, like if you want to learn how to play TVT, this is gonna be an absolute masterclass. I mean, both of these players that at one point have had TVT as one of their strongest matchups, I think. So I definitely think that this is going to be an incredible match.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see the parallels of each one's styles. I mean, yeah, both of them play a little bit differently, which has definitely been useful. Oh, hey, and I've been invited to the match. I always forget about it, and it's so cool. Just the little link in game that you can create and send your friends to invite them to matches. Pretty nifty. Anyways, Ward, we're almost there. We're so close to this match. I'm excited. Keep in mind, guys, we do have... Oh, actually, something to note. This is the only TVT in the entire series. It's going to be pretty nifty. Next up, we do have Kane against Caleb Arrakis, and then followed by Antis against Semper. So,
right. So this TVT is going to be on Darkness Sanctuary. Sorry, I was typing a message, but this TVT is going to be on Darkness Sanctuary, and it's an absolutely massive map. I mean, it's incredible. If you get cross spawns on this map, it's very, very far to push. If you get vertical or horizontal spawns on this map, though, I mean, the map gets a lot smaller. If it's vertical or horizontal spawns, I actually expect this game to go pretty quickly. But cross spawns, we could be here for quite a bit. So, it definitely depends on this map to see how this game's gonna go. But we are loading into Darkness Sanctuary, and I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely good game coming ahead. So as much as we've hyped this, I really hope this doesn't turn into a cheese fest. Spawning in the top left corner, representing Rise Esports, it's the Red Terran. It's the man who can see the future.
Please never do that again. And spawning in the top right, we have...
There it is, IxGpro.
He opened OBS, I think he said. What did he say? He opened OBS or something? I'm not sure.
Oh my goodness. Alright, well, I guess he couldn't foresee that one.
That was really bad, Ryan. Like, you've had like some questionable intros where I'm like, God, like the dad jokes in you are starting to come out. Like your age is showing, Ryan. But like that was bad.
Yeah. So we are going to be remaking this in just a few moments. Thank you for bearing with us for that record timing TVT.
Record timing when 3-Wax Reaper was a thing. I think that was standard.
I think the 1 second beats the 1 minute. Got him. Something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, thank you guys for hanging out. Definitely appreciate it. If you're feeling clicky, like clicking some things and stuff, we below the stream actually we do have a link to our YouTube page, which does have some of our events, and the merch store. You can get yourself some Infinity Gaming clothing, accessories, and jerseys, which is just pretty cool. And even below that, if you guys feel like hanging out with us, we have a Discord link just for you.
Yeah, and if you haven't already, guys, I just want to plug it again. Make sure to go check out that Matcherino page. I'm sure the link will be in chat when I talk about this, but make sure to go donate to the Matcherino page. Not even donate. I mean, we have the Matcherino code, IXG versus Rise, which will give 50 cents towards the prize pool. And I mean, like I've said before, there is no prize pool for this tournament, so just giving a little extra something to these players for coming out, playing, and all that, adding a prize pool, it's just be great. It's an awesome thing. So please make sure to go donate, contribute, use the donation code, whatever you can afford to do. And we really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Oh, there it is. I needed to click a link. I was about to say I haven't seen an invite yet, but there it is right in front. Maybe. Anyways, we are in lobby. Should be ready. Just a few seconds. You know, we hyped it up so much earlier that now it's just kind of like you're waiting in the elevator. You're just kind of making small talk until you can finally get to your destination. It's real awkward. Maybe not. Nothing's awkward with you, chat.
If you like keep making cringe jokes, I swear I'm gonna quit. Like, I'll leave, Ryan. It's bad.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but I mean, as we said, we are in the lobby again, and it looks like both players are ready. So I think we should finally be getting into this game for as much as we've been hyping it up.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, actually, we do have a game starting, so that's always good. Just to reiterate, and you know what, just in case we have not hyped this up enough for you guys, it's Vindicta against Future. I mean, that's the
two of the best American Terrans at the moment, if not the two best.
Absolutely. So, trying this one more time in the bottom right corner, representing Infinity Gaming, it's the boy in blue. It's Vindicta.
And in the top right, we have the red Terran player representing Rise Esports. It is Future. So this game we do have horizontal spawns, which, as I said, I mean, this is definitely the longer of the two shorter spawns, right? It goes as far as like distance, cross, vertical, and horizontal, I believe. So, I mean, this map definitely takes a little bit longer to get there with how the pathing is. So this map could be a decent length. Definitely not going to be as long as if it were cross spawn, but we definitely could be in for a decent macro TVT here.
Just as you say that, 3 proxy barracks get thrown down.
I thought you were being serious because I was answering a question in chat, and I was about to be really sad. But actually, we do have a Vindicta scouting horizontal first, and Future scouting cross first. So, I mean, they're gonna bump SCVs together here. So,
yeah, definitely. And
I wonder. And actually, Vindicta probably should realize where Future is if he sees this SCV, realizing how long it took this SCV to get here compared to his. So it is possible for Vindicta to actually know the spawn location of Future after these SCVs cross.
Yeah, and just there. We do see these two SCVs kind of bump into each other, but I don't.
He doesn't. He's going to the
Yeah.
next spawn
Don't
location.
notice.
Nope.
Neither of them.
Well, Future did because he went to go scout. He thought this was where Vindicta's base was, but so both players do opt for the Reaper expand here. Nobody going for the double gas, Rax Factory expand or anything like that. So taking a little bit of a greed risk here, but I mean, it's if you scout well enough, it can be holdable. Vindicta's Reaper is going to choose to stay at home and kill off that pesky SCV, while Future's Reaper is going to check that last spawn location. So, and turn around because his SCV just scouted. So, I mean, it's one SCV up for Vindicta now.
Yeah, we do have Vindicta's Reaper being very defensive.
Yeah, I mean, both players are just going to turn around to defend with their Reaper now. And we do see Reactor Factory. Nope, never mind. Reactors coming out on both the barracks here. Future will opt for the Reactor Factory, but Vindicta is actually just going to make Marines, start producing Widow Mines and Starport. So probably going to see a bit of a Widow Mine Marine drop here from Vindicta into, I'm going to guess, a Tech Lab and a Siege Tank for defensive purposes, while we are going to see Future making a Hellion and a Cyclone. So I think this allows you to be able to get a stim on your Tech Lab and then go into the Reactor.
Reaper going down. Vindicta is now up 1 Reaper. So that
yeah,
feels good. But he does have to run back. Very damaged. Hellion is chasing. So
definitely nice for Vindicta to pick off that Reaper. But I mean, this Hellion is gonna scout what Vindicta's doing here. He sees that's a Widow Mine, so I mean he knows, he kind of understands what's going on here. I think the way I interpret is Vindicta's going to go for a Widow Mine drop. So he's going to go into the mineral line, try and get a good hit and start dealing some damage. And dropping the Marines to finish off these SCVs. So I think you just see Vindicta or Future play a little bit more defensive, yet sending the Marine to patrol here to spot for the drop and having his Cyclones positioned to stop the drop play instead of maybe trying to poke with his Cyclones a little bit.
Okay. So we do have that drop in question, though, going north for Vindicta.
Yeah,
and like he's going to try and sneak in, but this is going to be caught.
Yep, and there's 2 Cyclones right there, so Vindicta needs to be very careful he doesn't get that killed. Only 1 Cyclone does lock on, so he will be able to save it. Scan does come down, and this is a bit of a weird play from Future that's not really super common, but I have seen it done before. He's basically following up with his Cyclone opening. He's going to switch the Starport onto this and go for a 2-1-1, basically. 16 Marine drop here, so looking to get a little bit aggressive with his units that he does have.
Yeah, speaking of those Cyclones, though, Medevac, 5 health. Those Cyclones do work. I mean, that very fast lock-on is, or the rapid-fire lock-on is pretty powerful, actually.
Yeah, very, very strong. I mean, that's the main reason that Cyclone play became relevant in TVT, even, is buffing that gave such strong defensive purposes to the Cyclone that Terrans kind of realized that we only really need Cyclones to defend early on. They don't need any other anti-air anymore. So definitely very strong is that Cyclone.
Yeah, we do have 1 lone Cyclone for Vindicta getting caught in the middle, or I guess closer to the Future's area, but those 3 Cyclones really ganged up on him. Marine catching this drop.
Yeah, the map vision from Future has been really, really good. He's just watching. He sees when the drop came into his base. He saw the drop there. Cyclones will actually go right past the medevac, so a bit unfortunate for Future. And I mean, this medevac will stay alive for now.
Ooh. Future wants it too.
I know.
He's looking for it.
And we do have the pickup now. It's going to be 1 tank and 12 Marines.
That's going to be rough.
A bit of a different drop coming out from Future here. But I mean, Vindicta's in good shape. He has the Viking and the Raven positioned on the west side of his base to keep anything from coming in here. If anything does try to drop here, he'll target it down with the Raven interference matrix ability so that it can't drop. So he is going to have to drop into the natural. But, I mean, there's a tank here from Vindicta. His army's in position, so... Oh, it's a bad tank shot. And actually, he will force the SCVs off the line and get some decent damage. great interference matrix down on the tank, does end up killing it and getting it as well. But, I mean, this Marine Force here still, I mean, it's demanding a response. They're still killing SCVs, getting supply depots, and 7 SCVs are going to go down before this is done.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
If
Yeah,
not
I
more.
was just in absolute awe of that. So we do have a few Marines in the...
Oh, but he is going to lose the
he's gonna get
entire
himself-
drop.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate, but there is another drop on the way down south. So it's going to be up to Vindicta to move his butt back and not have to all of his army to kill that
And
one Marine.
After all of that, Vindicta is only 3 workers behind. And, I mean, it is TVT, right? So, I mean, even small worker differences can mean something, but, I mean, it's not the biggest deal. Like, for the amount of workers killed, Future definitely is not as far ahead as I expected it to be in workers.
Yeah, something to keep in mind, guys. Vindicta does not have stim. Future does. So this is going to be hard defended from Vindicta. I mean, Future definitely has a little bit of advantage here.
Vindicta's stim is about to finish, and as well as his +1 attack is already done. So he should be on equal up. Actually, he doesn't have combat shields compared to the stim combat shield Marines of Future. So I mean, his army definitely has a little bit packed of a punch, and he actually gets fully surrounded, loses all of his tanks here, and I mean, doesn't really gain anything in return. That was just a bit of a sloppy fight, honestly, from Vindicta.
Yeah, absolutely. He just didn't wait. I mean, it almost seemed like he realized where he was a little too late. Future
Yeah, I mean,
knew exactly where he was.
Just, I mean, honestly, if I had to say anything, just not enough Marine support with that army. And I mean, he walked right into the Marines and tanks of Future, and by the time his army sieged, his Marine cover was gone, and his army was his tanks were gone soon too afterwards. Vindicta is going to move out with a double drop here onto the 3rd base. Sensor tower does finish though, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for him to get on top of that base.
Absolutely.
But we do have Future starting to move out onto the map. He is looking to push onto Vindicta. So definitely going to be a bit of pressure coming on here. And there is a good army supply difference here, about a 20 army supply difference. So, I mean, Vindicta should be a little bit worried here.
Yeah, but we do see a good handful of tanks coming from Vindicta, as well as this nice little counter punch. So it looks like the CC is going to be pretty close to coming down, as long as Vindicta...
I mean, good micro on this Marine drop too. He's focus firing the Marines before going after the SCVs. So,
but going back down top, we definitely have the battle coming from Future. He's really pushing that 3rd, kind of putting, well, he's putting exactly the same pressure that Vindicta's put on him.
And actually, he is going to get the 3rd command center. And a lot of SCV kills, actually more SCV kills than Vindicta's getting on the other side of the map. And Vindicta's drop is going to get cleaned up and forced to pick up. I mean, he has 7 Marines left in that drop, but that's not enough to get to overcome what Future has left at home.
Absolutely, and we do have 2 medevacs of Marines. This is such a rough siege for Vindicta just to bear.
Just excellent positioning here from Vindicta, from Future. I mean, there's nothing really Vindicta can do about this point, right? Like, he needs Vikings, he needs to overtake that air control, but at this point in time, he's not ready to do that. And I mean, if this factory goes down, which is looking like it might with that Viking shooting at it, it's definitely going to be a difficult game for Vindicta.
Yeah, but we do have some SCVs going to, repair it a little bit.
Yep, so Viking is out here for Vindicta, and he is going to kill the Viking of Future. So he will be able to push back the positioning of Future, at least the medevacs, and force scans. So if Future wants to get any damage done from this point, he's going to have to scan.
Yeah, we do have that drop getting taken care of on the north side. 1 medevac going down.
SCVs... Oh, never mind. SCVs almost run into the army of Future, but do manage to... And I mean, yeah, he's having to abandon his production. He's going to have to rebuild all the add-ons. And most importantly, he doesn't have a 3rd base. I mean, that's so crucial. Without a 3rd base here, I mean, Future is just going to get more and more ahead. And Vindicta is not sending enough of these drops to get over. I
really like this Liberator on the south side for Vindicta. Just nicely chew away the onslaught, or the contain, I guess you could call it, of Future.
Yeah, that is the correct response to repel that. And we do have a decent little flank here from Vindicta. I mean, he had something across the map, but he is going to stem right on top of the army of Future. not going to let him get a chance to prepare, and he is going to clean the entire thing up.
Ooh, nice pickoff. I mean, however, Vindicta super far behind. He has to put everything into Army. I mean,
Again, he doesn't have a third base.
Yeah.
But I don't like this play from Future. He is unsieging his tanks and moving out, and I feel like that is Future's best opportunity at throwing this game away. I mean, he is definitely in the driver's seat right now. He even has more army supply. But I mean, at this point, all he really needs to do is sit back, siege up. I mean, and Vindicta has to break him, right? There's really no advantage to Future being out on this map. Liberator
has a bit of a lead coming out in the middle of the map. These tanks for Vindicta sieging a little bit slowly.
Just a great split from Future, absolutely minimizing the damage that does go down on his Marines. And I mean, there's not a lot of army left here from Vindicta. He's on 23 supply, and the third base still has not been replaced. So it's not looking good for Vindicta. He is going to flip the main base over, but at this point, it might just be a little too late.
Absolutely. The main is, as you said, floating over. Lots of Marines getting produced from both sides, actually, but Future definitely better. GG. Future taking game number 2. Rise up 2-0 so far in this final.
Yeah, Rise fighting with a passion here. Definitely playing very well. I mean, that was an amazingly executed TPT from Future. Just constantly always felt like he had Vindicta on the back foot, Vindicta on the back foot, out at positioning Vindicta, having a bigger army than Vindicta, and just didn't feel like the entire game that there was Vindicta could really do.
Yeah, it was really rough for, as you said, Vindicta. I mean, Future did a really good job of that contain. But I mean, hey, such as the way of TVT.
Yep. My StarCraft actually crashed, so make sure they don't like go without me.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, so as far as Ward's StarCraft caching, next we will be having Kane against Caleb Orakis.
And this is match point right here, so
yeah, ZVZ match point. Ooh, that's not a good position for Infinity Gaming to be in.
No, I mean, ZVZ can definitely be a very fickle matchup, and I do feel that Kane is definitely a very strong ZVZ player. I mean, it's ZVZ, right? You never know what's going to happen. There's been more surprising upsets. There's been more devastating losses than this would be in ZVZs. So, I mean, this really could go either way.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know a ton about Caleb Orakis' play. Unfortunately, I know.
I mean, there's like two sides to Caleb Orakis. I mean, Caleb can be a very strong macro Zerg. He's always a very strong macro Zerg if he does play that side of the game. So I mean, he's very strong macro. He loves late game from what I've seen. I mean, I've seen multiple games of Vindicta versus Caleb Orakis. Vindicta versus Caleb Orakis go to the late game, and I mean, Caleb Orakis, he throws every punch, he returns every punch. He does not roll over. But then there's the other side of Caleb Orakis. Like, he can get pretty. I don't like to use the word, but he can get pretty memey, right? Like, I mean, I've seen Caleb Orakis proxy hatch into 1-2 base swarm host, proxy hatch swarm host, and do just these other really strange things that, you know, they're literally a meme and absolutely wipe the floor with people. So, I mean, there's definitely two kinds of Caleb we could see today.
Absolutely, and I wonder. I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting because if he decides to pull out the macro, then we can definitely see this nice long-winded game from Kane, which would be kind of nice for a change.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, we could see that from Kane, but I don't think it's any lie to tell. I don't think you're gonna trick anyone into saying, yeah, Kane loves macro ZVZs, right? Like,
Yeah, right.
I have actually not seen a ZVZ where Kane just cheeses. Like, he is a very, very aggressive Zerg player when it comes to ZVZs, whether it be Lingbane, he does sometimes some weird Roach Ling pushes. Like, he's very, very aggressive, and you're not going to tell anybody that he's not. I mean, enough people have seen him play ZVZ to know that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real way to argue that one.
Not that he can't. No, I fully believe that if he needs to, he can play a macro game and win it. I mean, I'm not saying that he can't do it, but I think he definitely prefers to be in the driver's seat to control the pace of the game and to not have to sit back and defend, right? So, I mean, that's just the kind of player Kane is.
Yeah, which that'd be really interesting to see if Kane's able to. I don't want to use the word bully, but I guess, shove Caleb around in terms of ZVZ.
I'm sorry, what?
Like, just, I think it'd be. I wonder if we're going to be able to see Kane kind of just control the flow of the game pretty nicely.
Well, as I said, when you do go for aggression, you do typically kind of control the pace of the game, right? So you have the map control, you have all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, that by no means he's shoving or bullying Caleb Arrakis. I mean, if Caleb is able to defend, then he's going to be in a good spot. And even though he's not going to have that map control or whatever it may be that Kane may temporarily have, I mean, he's going to be able to have the economy and build up a better army to take on Kane. So I definitely don't think we're just going to see Caleb roll over.
Yeah, absolutely. Ward, did you ever get your StarCraft back up and running?
Yeah, it's up now.
There it is. Got him. Okay, cool. So we are in lobby here. Looks like the only one we're waiting on is my co-caster, but it's okay. So we're actually okay at talking sometimes. We're not the worst ever at it, which is okay. Anyways, Go is getting thrown in chat. Definitely looks like everyone's excited to get this game underway. Thank you again for hanging out, everybody. This is the 8th match point for Infinity Gaming against Rise. And it will be at Lost and Found.
Caleb just has the Protoss logo.
I
What a
mean,
meme.
yeah, I was gonna say you might have may trick a few people with that.
He's trying to trick Kane into thinking he's playing Protoss.
There it is. Well, I mean, even people on ladder that you find here and there, they just see someone with a logo and they're like, oh, okay, it's Protoss, whatever. And then all of a sudden they're scouting. It's, oh, hey, why is he there? So, anyways, getting the game underway, spawning in the top right corner, representing Rise Esports. It is the Red Zerg. It's Caleb Arrakis.
And spawning in the bottom left, we have the blue Zerg player representing Infinity Gaming. It is Kane. And all this talk we did about Kane playing aggressively, and it's going to be Caleb going for the gas hatch pool, and it's going to be Kane going for the hatch first. So, I mean, definitely a bit of a flip from what I expected here.
Yeah, I wonder if Kane's just trying to play a little bit of a different style here.
Yeah, maybe trying to play to his image a bit, play a bit of a mind game, go for a greedy play instead of an aggressive one. But, I mean, we are going to see Caleb go, like I said, for this gas hatch pool. So, going to be looking at a lot of fast speedlings, even possibly a baneling nest, although I'm not convinced he's going to go for that. But he is staying on mining gas, so yeah, we're going to see a one-base speedling baneling push. So this is definitely going to be scary for Kane to hold. I mean, his spawning pool is basically starting when Caleb's metabolic boost is starting. Right? Like, that's never the ideal situation. And baneling nest is down, so we are definitely going to see baneling pressure here from Caleb.
Yeah, I wonder, are these lings going to be caught? I don't believe so. Overlord not seeing those lings go by. This is going to be absolutely devastating for Kane. He's going to see it a little bit too late, and I mean a lot of it too late.
Kane.
Ward, this is scary.
And I don't know how Kane holds this. I feel Kane almost Kane cannot expect to keep that low ground base. I mean, there's just no way. At this point, he doesn't know whether it's a 12 pool gas list or anything like that, so he is kind of working to keep it, but we do see a spine crawler go down, which is definitely going to be needed here. Queen is started on the natural too. I'm pretty sure that will be able to pop, so he's going to have 2 queens to hold here, and he is going to have to pull the drone, so he's trying to save this hatchery, at least until the queen pops.
Yeah, these lings just kind of buying time until these banelings can get there, because once they get there,
Kane actually hasn't scouted these banelings. He's just seeing these, so he's just figuring out that this is a baneling all in. Queen does pop, and it will be in the mineral line, which is definitely a good spot. A very, very strong baneling hit there from Caleb Arrakis, though.
Absolutely. Another one going up, 6 drones going down. Queen dead, lings taking down that natural. I mean,
actually, you know what?
pissed that he's done, right?
We do see Caleb Arrakis droning here. I think moving down that spine collar might have been a bit of a questionable call. But it looks like Kane's actually going to be able to save this natural base. I mean, the queen will go down, but there's enough. Actually, he will not save the queen, just barely. But Kane does manage to hold the space, which is, I did not see that coming. He is slightly behind in drones now, but, I mean, he's alive.
Yeah, so it's 12 to 16 workers, but I mean...
14.
12 to 16 workers?
Yes. Anyway,
What?
I do like the decision from Caleb Arrakis to just go ahead and drone behind this. I mean, he got 6 drones with that Baneling, right? So that's almost the damage you're looking for there in itself. And I mean, I definitely think that he underestimated the defensive capabilities of Kane there with what units he had left. I think he thought he was going to get the natural, and that's why he didn't build any more Zerglings. But, I mean, he is slightly ahead in the CVZ, so he can't complain too much.
Absolutely. And looking at the vision for Kane, he does know that there is a natural. He's very much aware of it. Looks like he is going to get a little bit of a scout going on with these lings, just to see exactly the extent of what is happening. Does get a minor scout, not too much though.
Yeah, and I think Caleb's a little bit scared here. I think he's expecting a little bit of a counterattack, but he has good Overlord positioning. I don't think he actually sees Wisp.
Ooh, we have a third base going down for Caleb Arrakis.
Yeah, so maybe a little bit more confident than I had thought. But, I mean, he's definitely not going to be caught off guard. He's not going to have those Banelings away from his ramp. He's not going to lose to any, like, a stupid massive Ling Flood, right? He doesn't plan on losing to that.
Yeah, we do have a Ling brigade on the right side of the map.
Sure. I think a pack is probably a better description of Zerglings. Well, I mean, they're like giant wolves, right? Like that's kind of like what they're supposed to be the equivalent. Anyway, Banelings will come down, and actually Kane does get a good split off on those Zerglings, and he is going to be able to kill most of what Caleb Arrakis has here. I'm just really trying to get that last Baneling. Looks like he is actually going to get it, and this is a one-on-one Zergling fight. We'll go in favor of Kane. So, yeah, I mean, a good trade there from Kane. Third base has also started for Kane now, and Caleb's is going to be a little bit ahead of that, so Kane does have to be careful here not to get too far behind. And, I mean, as well as his Roachborn already being on the way, as where Kane hasn't even started his yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kane is going to see some of these Lings try and pop in. Ooh, really good Baneling connection.
Yeah, that was
more Lings on the way, but Caleb does see the third for Kane.
And we do have also now a layer coming up from Caleb Arrakis. So Caleb Arrakis is teching pretty hard here. And I think he's right here. I don't think Kane's really going to be able to crack Caleb. Unless he has some absolutely amazing micro. Although he does get on top of these Banelings already with those Zerglings. And he's splitting very, very well. Gonna almost get a Baneling here.
Oh, all these Lings
I'm not
going
sure.
in. That's such a good move.
Oh, almost got 2 Banelings for like 8 there. Oh, forces a connection. Really good trades there for Kane. I mean, just the Banelings for Caleb not really connecting how he wanted them to, but he is going to force Kane back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Kane...
This single Zergling.
With it.
This single Zergling has taken like 500 hit points off that hatch and almost got a drone. He's the MVP.
Wow, it's still going. Oh my
I know.
goodness.
He's going to get a drone. What a god.
What a
He
god.
is finally going to die.
Really.
But anyway, like we said, I mean, Kane just now has his lair finishing up. He has all 4 gases, so he is going to be going for that Spire play here, especially with no Roachborn here. It's very evident. Unless he throws down the Hydralisk Den, but I'd be shocked. Yep, there it is. Going to be going for that fast Spire play and try and catch Caleb off guard. And I'm not sure if Caleb is really expecting this. I don't see much anti-air. I see a queen in each base, building another queen, probably just to spread creep since it's only 1. So, yeah, I think this is definitely going to catch Caleb off guard if it does end up going unscouted.
Yeah, it definitely seems like these are the two kind of styles for that mid-game for
Overseer.
VBC. Ooh.
Overseer just barely misses the scout on that, and actually is going to miss the scout. He totally misses the Spire there. He really doesn't know what's going on. I mean, he either thinks he's really far ahead because Kane doesn't have a Spire or has a Roachborn yet, or he knows, which I'm going to guess he knows. He started up more queen production here, as well as his Hydralisk Den is finishing up, so I think he has a pretty good idea of what's going on.
Absolutely. We do have a really nice split, I'd like to say. we do have a pack of Zerglings on the top
That's a
north
swarm.
side. Oh my goodness. And a grouping on the south side. So
I think this is going to be very hard for Caleb to defend. I think he's going to distract the army. That's actually he does decide to turn around, which I'm not entirely against. I think he was going to try and distract this army with that northern group of Lings and get massive Baneling connections on the south side, but he does end up deciding to turn around. He's going to try and lure out these Zerglings, which he does, and he is going to trade three Banelings for about 12 Zerglings.
yeah, definitely pretty good. So we do have this Ling army, I guess you could call it now, floating around the map, definitely trying to. I don't know. They're looking for stuff, I suppose, but
Yeah, we do have.
finally popping, and Overseer is going to find that. So Caleb.
We do have Spore Crawlers coming out from Caleb here, and the choice to go for Carapace here really shows Kane's planning on moving into Mass Beauty. He's not planning on making 7 and going to anything else. Well, you can also tell that from the fact that he has 0 Roachborn. But, I mean, he's going all in on these mutas. I mean, a lot. He's going to be going very heavy, probably up to 20, maybe more. So, definitely Caleb has to be very careful to balance the aircraft.
Yeah, I definitely going to be pretty cool. But there are a lot of Spore Crawlers, as you previously mentioned, so these mutas are going to have a little bit of a rough time.
Yeah,
getting
I think Kane really has to just try. I think Kane's goal here is I remember him doing this in the Challenger he played too against Silky, where he goes very heavy on Mutalisk and he techs into Hive, Ultralisk, and he kind of goes for a Lingbane Ultra Muta style. I think that is going to be his end game goal here, to try and keep Caleb Arrakis on the back foot, keep him from being able to push safely, and just be able to tech up.
Yeah. I really like those scouting Lings that kind of sacrifice themselves, allowing those mutas plenty of time to clear that area, get out of there, because Hydras are pretty good, I've heard, against air units. So.
Yep. Caleb is making lurkers now, so he is preparing for the inevitable Baneling flood that Kane is going to go for. So, trying to Baneling, he's preparing for Kane swooping in with like 30 Banelings, trying to bust down those Hydras and taking on the rest of the army. With those lurkers, it's going to be much harder for Kane to do that. They're obviously very effective with Banelings, so definitely a good move from Caleb Arrakis.
Yeah, so far Kane actually hasn't taken really any losses in those Muta flocks as he's going around poking, but Hydra's doing a really good job for Caleb to shoo away those Hydras.
Yeah, it is trying to find.
This is pretty rough for Kane here. He's not really able to find any damage.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb Arrakis is definitely doing a good job of defending here. He's not going to let Kane get that hatchery. I mean, he has roaches down here to prevent run-bys, spores in case the mutas decide to come down here. I mean, Caleb's definitely doing a good job of protecting the extremities of his bases as well. I mean, even the innards of it. But this is all like a ploy from Kane, right? Like, at this point, these mutas are doing exactly what Kane wants them to do, and that's buy him time. We see the hive is started, but I mean, I think Caleb's comfortable with them. And the mutas fly right over the hive, just at least 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe even a 7th going down there. That really hurt Kane. I mean, he really needed those mutalisks. But I mean, he is going to run by into the natural, into the 3rd here. And this run by is not really going to get much done. There's queens and roaches in for position, and I just think Kane's in a really big trouble here.
Absolutely. We do have this Hydra Lurker combination with a peppering of roaches moving on forward into the status, and Banelings going off, taking down a bit of lurkers, but
this is a really good positioning from Caleb Arrakis. I mean, it's very hard for there to be any sort of surround or anything. The Banelings are connecting with a handful of Hydras, but it's just not been enough up until this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Kane making that questionable move of kind of running right into that corridor with the lurkers, but
it's not like he did it on purpose, right? Like, he didn't see the army, but he is going to clean up all the Hydras there, and there's going to be no anti-air left. Caleb is going to go into harass the 4th with the lurkers, but I mean, there's nothing left to defend these from the mutalisks. So as soon as detection gets here, I mean, that's Caleb's army gone. So eventually, at the end of the day, Kane will manage to hold.
Absolutely. And we only have a small roach run by on the left base.
And I mean,
are here to take care of it.
This position has gone from good to a little bit worrying for Caleb. Good damage being done at these extremities of the bases with the lurker run by, as well as the roach run by. But I mean, his Hydra count, his lurker count has been reset. So I mean, not only does he have to rebuild that Hydra count to make sure he can't die to Mutalisks, but I mean, he also has to prepare for the fact that he also has to build up that lurker count again, so Banelings don't just murder his army. And I think Kane, if he really wanted to, could probably fly in and kill off this fourth.
Yeah, and looks like that's what we're gonna see. I mean,
I think he's deciding to wait for the Banelings. He doesn't really. I don't think he realizes how small Caleb Rakis' lurker count or Hydra count was there for a second. So,
yeah,
but
those
by the
Banelings
time
definitely did a lot of damage earlier.
Absolutely, and by the time Kane is ready to push, it looks like Caleb will have enough Hydras to defend, especially with the Queen and the Spore Crawler in position. But we're back to Kane just pressuring Caleb, and Caleb having to stay on the back foot. So again, we're going to see Kane start to tech a little bit more.
Yeah, and with that, we do have this Mutaflock taking down some of these Spore Crawlers, and they're just going to keep on carrying through and getting on out of there. Oh, but they're going to play some Hydras peeking.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, he got a handful of Hydras there, so I don't think he realized that the whole army was coming back. I think he thought it was a small fraction that he could take, but I mean, he's bouncing between the bases. I mean, the Hydralisks are really struggling to stay in a good spot here.
So we did have a Ling run by and the third base for
kills
Caleb,
the third.
and he did take it out. Took it out while these mutas just kept on
so many drones.
So many drones, exactly. A 28 overall.
He's gonna take up
getting that fourth. So good.
And I mean, this is it for Caleb now, right? Like he can't rebuild these hatcheries. I mean, he can wait and rebuild them, but I mean, he's obviously just going to fall even further behind, and now we see 20 more Banelings on the way. I mean, this is not a great situation for Caleb Rakis to be in.
Yeah, but we do have Caleb walking across the map, kind of figuring this out.
Not again! Oh! He catches the lurkers unburrowed. Banelings get on top of all of the Hydras. He is going to get on top of the lurkers as well, and there's going to be absolutely nothing left.
Pain. Take it win number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not over. It's 2-1. That leaves just a few more matches. Next up.
Oh, StarCraft, please. Please.
Oh no.
Okay, it stopped responding, but it came back.
So next up, you've seen him in chat. You've seen him in other streams. It's gonna be Semper going up against, and you know what? I can say the exact same thing for this guy. It's Antis. Well, actually, I guess I'll do the intros later. But anyways, that's what you're going to see. It's going to be a ZVT on Dreamcatcher. That's definitely going to be an interesting match.
Yeah, I mean, ZVT, it's interesting, especially, it's interesting on Dreamcatcher, right? Because I feel there's definitely... It's not very great for Zerg players, I feel. I mean, there's a lot of very, very, very abusable tank spots on that map. So definitely it's going to be a bit of a tough fight for Antis with those first four bases. But if he can survive, I feel like he has a pretty good fighting chance.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, okay. Yeah, I had to think about that one for a second, but
I mean, just starting out, those four, like the walls surrounding your third and fourth, like if you parking siege tanks behind those is absolutely incredible. So it's pretty hard.
Absolutely. So we are going to be. Oh, there it is. The nice little link to the match. We will have this game underway for you guys pretty shortly. Again, thank you guys for hanging out. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check out the match Reno that we have here today. You can also purchase other things as rewards, which is pretty cool. So we do have quite a bit for you guys. Typing in IXG versus Rise as the coupon code will add 50 cents to the prize pool. So that's going to be pretty cool. The link will be provided with you fairly shortly as soon as the stream catches up. Also, if you were looking for other content from us, if you appreciate the casts, so I know we like being here, we also have a YouTube with some of our events, a merch store, which is kind of cool, getting yourself some Infinity Gaming gear, which is always good, as well as our Discord. You can hop in and hang out with us. So definitely a cool few links just below this video, this stream.
Yep. So I mean, if you are interested, just be sure to click on those and give you straight to the YouTube, straight to the Discord, and straight to the merch store. And we are getting into lobby now with Dreamcatcher. It is going to be Semper versus Antis, another ZVT here. So I mean, we literally have no Protosses today, and I think it's been StarCraft as it should be, but I mean, ZVT here, kind of the classic matchup, famous for its entertainingness and nonstop action. I mean, on a map like Dreamcatcher, I'm definitely curious to see what's.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see these two players play. Antis just qualifying through the brackets. Challenger.
Yep.
Yeah.
He didn't qualify through the open bracket for Challenger. And I mean, so this is kind of, Antis, this is his first ever Challenger that he's qualified, right? So it's kind of the rising star versus, and I mean, Semper was in his shoes like maybe a couple of years ago, back in Heart of the Swarm, kind of an upcoming player. So I mean, it's kind of the upcoming Zerg player against the now grizzled veteran that is Semper. I mean, and not like a grizzled veteran that's on the way down. Semper, he's as strong as he's ever been. He's playing amazing StarCraft 2, and I mean, really expect, he's a top tier match here.
Yeah, very excited to see these two duke it out. Oh wow, okay, yeah, I got distracted by that game timer. Whew. All right, we are finally hopping in. Very excited. This is match number 4, guys. So currently Rise is up 2-1 against Infinity Gaming. That's okay, because spawning in the bottom right corner, it's the blue Zerg, the man in Challenger. Representing Infinity Gaming, it's Antis.
And spawning in the top left, we have the red Terran player representing Rise Esports. It is Semper. And he doesn't have his little Rise tag on. A little weird. Rip.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. I mean, those wings are.
I mean, it's a nice logo. I'm not gonna I think Infinity Gaming has a nice logo, but I mean the Rise logo, that's pretty dope. Let me just shit on my own team's logo.
Yeah.
My bad. So we do have Semper going for a Rax Gas here. Into a Reaper expand and a hatch first from Antis. So both players just gonna play a macro game.
Yeah, we've actually seen some pretty friggin' standard matches from all players actually. Even the Kane Caleb one, that I feel like most of these games have been very standard. Ward kind of want something new.
I don't. I'm loving these macro games, man. Especially the macro TVZs we've seen today. So again, we just see Semper going for that Reaper expand, and he is gonna send out the SCV here. It's definitely a little bit late. Maybe just I'm not really sure what it's trying to see. Just trying to see maybe if it is a pool first, trying to double check it. But I mean, typically you scout on like 17 for that, so I'm a little bit confused. But nonetheless, he is going to be SCV scouting. I'm sure Semper has used this enough that he does know that.
You'd think.
And again, we are going to see that Rax Gas into Reaper Marine, which is going to be for Hellions. So we are going to have another Hellion game here. I'd like to see this one go into Bio, but it probably going into Mech. I'm trying to cast a curse so it does go into Bio, by the way.
Oh, is that what you're doing?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Reaper from Semper, not going to be fooled, does come to check the third base, but Antis does see it coming with this Overlord and does run away with that Reaper, or with that drone. So he is going to get the third base down on time. And yeah, good micro on these Zerglings, going to keep these Zerglings from dying to this Reaper. Queen will pop and force this Reaper to be pushed back. And the third base does come down.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the important part here, is that the third did get down. Reaper doesn't quite know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure at some point he's going to run down and check again, just because, I mean, it has to be known, right? Like, if there's some two-base, like, Semper can't, like, just turn around here now, not double-check and say, there's no third, right? Like, that's just such a big assumption, sorry. And he is going to go check the top third again, and he's actually still not there. No? I thought he was about to go check it, but he turns around again. I think he realized the Reaper didn't see it, so he will turn back to see it. And does now realize there's a third, and he doesn't have to worry about some crazy Ling Bane bust.
And yeah, that would be the game to end it right there. Just this crazy Ling Bane bust. Anyways, we do have a Liberator coming out for Semper. I think that's a pretty interesting choice. I mean, Liberator, Hellion, normally it's a Viking, right?
I mean, he's just going straight for the Liberator here, so he's going to try and get across the map as fast as possible to get some damage done, skipping the Viking because it delays the Liberator a little bit. So, I mean, not really the biggest deal. Yeah, typically we do see a Viking first, but it's not the biggest deal to go Liberator first. And this is typically what happens. Liberator is typically the opening you see when the Terran is going to go for Bio. So as we do see, Stim has started. And yeah,
absolutely. These Hellions are going over to the third just to check it out. Not really much they can do, except for set things on fire, because, you know, why not do that? Two Queens are going to be shooing that away in the meantime. But this Liberator on the left side going south, got to be looking to get some damage done.
So, unfortunately for Arthis, he did dedicate into Roach Tech. So it looks like he thinks it's going to be a mech play here. And he's actually going to a pretty high roach count, so I do expect to see Arthis march across the map here. And I mean, we do have 3CC here from Semper, so he's getting a little bit greedy. I mean, it's pretty standard to go for a fast 3C off of Hellions, and he does see the roaches coming across the map. He will throw down a bunker, but I mean, it's going to be a bit harder to hold, but we do see a siege tank coming down, so even if Semper does take a little bit of damage from this, I don't really expect this to be the game.
Yeah, he shouldn't be broken by this.
Actually, 7 workers going down to the main base. Arthis caught totally off guard by that Liberator. So Arthis is all in. This has to deal damage. It has to do something. And with that bunker finishing at the top, as well as the siege tank being done now, I really just don't see what Arthis is going to do here.
Handful of Ravagers are going to try and start picking things off. But yeah, these roaches just keep funneling into this little...
Well, he doesn't have any high ground vision either, right? So he can't bile onto that siege tank. And the bunkers are filling up again. Arthis is going to get into the base. The Ravagers are corrosive viling, but there's just not much left here after the siege tank is absolutely demolished through Arthis' army.
Oh my goodness. This little choke is just really good for...
The Liberator in the natural, again, taking down another 12 workers here. So Arthis he's really in desperate need of some damage.
Yeah, he's not quite able to get that. He is focusing that bunker that was being repaired.
Yeah,
I mean, he needed to break it, but he wasn't quite able to. Tanks in just a nice position, able to shoo those away. So, I mean, overall, 12 workers have gone down for Arthis. I mean, that's pretty rough. We do see 6, 7 at a time being morphed, but in the meanwhile, drop going out on the left side, heading south. Ward, this is looking real dangerous for Arthis here.
Yeah, and I mean, this is definitely a less than ideal moment for Arthis. I mean, not only does Semper survive, but he survives on 3CC. So even though he's not only held ahead in workers, but he has 3CC to replenish the workers he did lose. This drop from Arthis, too, has gone unspotted up to this point, and there's not really much at home. Arthis has been pretty much droning, and all of his units are on the other side of the map.
Oh yeah, it's going to be absolutely devastating. Marines piling on out, stimming down, and they're just moving forward.
Yeah, and there's only 11 Zerglings at this point too, so, I mean, he's going to send the Zerglings in, but they're not going to clear up the drop.
Okay, Combat Shield finishing in just a few seconds. Drop going away, rotating over to the third. I mean, this is pretty rough.
He's going to have to pull the drones here, which is definitely less than ideal, but I mean, with the drone and 1 roach, he actually does force this back, but he will lose 4 drones in the process.
Yeah, these Marines, very low health, but they are going to be picked up. Really nice reaction time from Semper there. These two players, I mean, they're on even bases, Ward. This is not looking good for the Zerg player.
Not even just even bases. I mean, Semper's ahead in workers. Like I said, he's on 3cc, so this is definitely not where Arthis wants to be at this point in time. If anything, he wanted to be ahead in workers. I mean, even if he was ahead in workers right now, he's still behind because of mules. So, I mean, Semper is just at a pretty commanding spot with his economy.
Yeah, which is absolutely rough on Arthis here. But Marines taking down those rocks, making sure that there's no forward push, that it will be only to the side where that sensor tower is. So definitely good job for Semper making sure that there are no loose ends, that he's not going to screw anything up. We also do have that drop on the north side. Just one minute back. Roach is going down in that third. Lots of tank fire. But we are going to be following this medevac. 2-2 on the way for Terran. This is going to be slowly downhill. Yeah, 1-1 just now finishing for our Zerg. But this drop is finally coming in. And meanwhile, there's another small little skirmish in the middle of the map. Roaches shooting off some Marines, but in that natural, though, Marines finally going down. Double medevac on the left side.
I mean, Arthis is doing what he can here, right? He's trying to defend, but he has roaches, and he's just being absolutely pulled apart by Semper. Just constant damage coming down. 7 more drones are going down, and again, he's 7 drones behind in workers right now, so not in a great spot is Arthis, and he's pretty down. He's actually up 20 army supply at the moment, but it's in roaches. So I mean, Arthis, he's down in workers. He is on a lesser army than Semper's bio tank army, and I mean, he's really not where he wants to be. With this hive finishing up, though, I am curious as to what we're going to see Arthis transition to, because I mean, Arthis really has to go all in on this hive play, because nothing else is really going to be able to bring him back into the game.
Yeah, he's just absolutely being torn apart. Semper doing a really good job at just hopping around, using the medevac's mobility to his advantage, and he's just really able to slip in and out of those crevices. So we do have Arthis amassing his army kind of near the middle. He is going to want to make some sort of push. He's going to want to do a little bit of damage, but he really just doesn't have that much. I mean, Ward, this is just not good. Like, Arthis is just, he doesn't have much. I mean, it's 2-2, not quite done. Attack almost finishing, armor not there, but Semper is 2-2's already done, 3-3 just starting.
I mean, we do see
attack only.
Arthis is going for that Viper play, but the thing about this army is I very much feel that Semper's army is almost strong enough that he could probably win a fight even with a siege at this point, right? Like,
oh yeah, for sure. He can just stim and win.
Yeah, Arthis has to get like amazing blinding clouds, like unparalleled blinding clouds, and actually he's gonna take this fight without the Ravagers, not paying attention. So there go the roaches, amazing siege tank volleys, and there's just nothing left here from Arthis. And I mean, his roaches looked really slow. I almost didn't have speed for a second, but I mean, he is going to be forced to retreat, and he's on equal, if not a little behind in army supply, against a bio-tank army with roaches. I mean, this is not where any Zerg player wants to be. And there comes this abusive tank positioning we were talking about earlier. I mean, what is Arthis really supposed to do here?
Yeah, there's no way to actually take any of this down. No punishment for the medevacs, no advantage on vision, no nothing. It's just these Marines backed by a boatload of tanks. I guess that'd be a pretty big boat, like a tanker. Tanker of tanks.
Anyway, we do have 11 drones going down from Arthis here. He's plummeting in supply. Hydralisk Den might actually go down, but no, he elects not to shoot on that. Almost profiles his own army. But again, he's knocked down to 3 bases. He does have a gold hatchery on the north side, so that's a nice fourth to have. At least there is one. But that means it's going to mine out fairly soon, so he needs to be looking to another base. And while he's struggling to stay on 4 bases here, I mean, Semper, he's taking his 5th. He's building another command center. He's building 2 extra command centers, actually. And he's sitting very, very comfortable on those 5 bases.
Yeah, but Semper does scout this gold in the top right, sending a small hit squad to go take care of it. But Antis, I mean, this is really all he has. He actually, again, he has no Hydra whatsoever, so he's just now getting those out. These Vipers aren't really going to be able to be punctualized on. I mean, they can abduct all they want, but not really going to do much against medevacs. Nothing can hit air.
Yeah, and Semper taking advantage of the fact that, I mean, Antis really sent most of his army to that north side to try and deal with that drop. And, I mean, he's going to drop into the base again now that Antis moved down to the bottom side. But, again, there's just not a lot here from Antis. He has Vipers, but they're not even ready to go yet. Half of his army basically disappears on the first tank volley. The bio is stimmed, the Vipers are going down, and Antis is not looking good.
Yeah, there was a huge pick for the Vipers. GG getting called. Semper taking game number 3. And that does it, folks. Rise Esports winning the Alpha Team League Finals, Season 11. Game number 3, yeah. For a 3-1 victory over Infinity Gaming. So definitely a lot of good matches were played today. Again, a lot of macro, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of macro play here. We definitely saw strong play from both teams. Strong macro play. I mean, like you said, there was no cheese. I mean, there was the Caleb Arrakis cheese, but I mean, that went right into a full game. So, I mean, really good games today. Rise does take a 3-1, but I mean, they played some very strong players today. So, just an impressive series, and I think we saw a lot of good StarCraft today.
Absolutely. Again, guys, thank you for hanging out. We definitely appreciate you guys hanging out in chat. With all that said, though, again, check out the match Reno. Check out our YouTube, that gear store, and our Discord. Plug in all the things. Also, be sure to hit that match Reno, the one I just mentioned, and use the code IXG versus Rise in that little coupon code section. Very easy. Then you hit contribute, and that adds 50 cents to the prize pool. Definitely a good thing to do before it closes, and that will be closing, I believe, fairly soon. So definitely get in on that. And with that said, wrapping things up, though, I'm Arthisios, and with me is Ward. We saw some pretty good games today. Well, I think so.
Yep, I'm definitely going to be watching the VOD of some of these to pick up some builds here, because I really liked a lot of what was done today.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, guys, thank you for hanging out with us. Definitely appreciate it. We're outie. You guys have a great night. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
The question of what is the soul is really the question, who are you?